Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to talk about the kinetic sequence, which sounds really fancy and complicated, but I'm going to try and make it as simple as possible and talk about the difference that I see in amateurs kinetic sequence versus professionals. So the kinetic sequence is basically how we produce force through the ground, so ground reaction forces. And if we look at professional swings, they all have the exact same sequence regardless of how their swing looks to the naked eye. So the three forces that we're looking at when they're going through their swing would be lateral, so side to side motion, rotational, twisting, and then vertical force, so moving up and down. So the best players in the world all have the same sequence. When they are taking their backswing, just before they get to the top of the backswing, they start to push laterally, so sideways. They're actually pushing into the ground a little this way to go this way. So as they get to the top, they start to shift back to the target, then the rotation starts to happen, and then as they get somewhere about halfway down, between halfway down and shaft parallel, they are pushing up as hard as they can through the lead leg to create vertical force. With amateurs, sometimes that sequence will be out of sync, so it may be they get to the top and there's no lateral push and they just rotate, which can make you come over the top. Some players get back and they just do lateral and vertical, but there's all different things that we see with players and their ground reaction forces. So number one is the sequence that we want to see would be lateral, rotational, vertical. The next step of that would then be the timing. So a lot of amateurs who do have the right sequence, their timing is just too late. So by the time the ball's gone, they haven't had enough energy pass through the club efficiently to reach their max potential club head speed. So timing wise, just before it gets to the top, we shift lateral. Just as we get in this position, we're getting max rotation, and then, as I said here, we're getting max vertical. That gives the speed enough time to get through the club and into the ball. Most amateurs are pushing max vertical when they're at the ball or after it, and then all the speed that they could have developed is gone because the ball's already 20-30 yards flying down the range. And then finally, the third step, if your sequence and your timing is good, it would just be overall force production. So simply, how hard can you push into the ground to create force that comes back from the ground? So this would be done by gym work. So getting in the gym, getting stronger, getting more explosive would then be the next step to maximize speed and power. So that would be the three steps that you want to follow when we're doing that. So looking at the best person I believe to look at would be look at Rory McIlroy, kind of slow motion as he gets to the top. He kind of shifts back, he squats, loads into the ground, rotation, and then he's pushing up hard through the lead leg. So if you struggle with inconsistencies, ball striking, speed, try this super simple drill. So you'll go club across the shoulders, rotate back, shift maybe like an inch, then start to rotate, and then as we get back to here, then we're pushing up. So you can do it simply. You'll actually see some guys on tour, if they're walking off a tee box, they'll just practice going here, shift, rotate, push it up, and just try and get that sequence, and then add the club back in and try that, and that will definitely help with your overall ball striking, consistency, speed development, and all that good stuff. So hopefully that breaks down the kinetic sequence. It's not as crazy as it sounds, it's just simply how we are using the ground to create movements. And then let me know if you've got any questions, drop them in the comments, and I will do some more videos in future on the kinetic sequence in more detail.